B2B CEOs, why isn't your marketing scaling in 2026? Give me the next couple of minutes and I'm going to break down what I see as a fractional CRO and CMO when I dive into companies that are trying to scale out of just referral based growth. I'm going to show you a cautionary tale. We're going to look at a specific company and we're going to look at all the different things that they have tried to do to scale that failed. And we're going to find out they all have the same root cause. And this could be killing your marketing too. So let's jump right into it. And I'm going to show you how to scale your business past referrals, past the limit of referrals, so you can get past $10 million a year in revenue this year. I'm going to jump into Loom. Let's get into it. Okay, what you see here is a standard report that I make when I come in as a fractional CRO. And what we're going to look at is the performance of the marketing on all these different channels for a company that was really struggling to find a marketing partner. And we're going to see exactly why these things failed. First thing that we have to note is that the channel is not the same as the play that you're running on the channel, right? You can run different kinds of ads. You can do different kinds of outbound, right? So it's important to know that the channel and the strategy you're using on the channel and the offer at the end of the day, the call to action, what you're trying to get people to do on that channel, they're not the same things. And so let's just look at this company. So what they did is they worked with a lot of different agencies. They really wanted to scale. They were serious about it, serious CEO. They're going to make it happen. And I came in to just evaluate, what are all these vendors doing? Why isn't it working? And let me just show you what we got going on. So we have outbound dialing, right? So what does that mean? That means we send an email and then we do a cold call and say, hey, I sent you an email. And we have meta ads, right? So we're running some meta ads with another vendor, different vendor doing that, and doing some video ads to a website. That works. There's nothing wrong with that at all. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay, and then also we're doing some LinkedIn ads and so many things, cold email, warm email, there was content marketing before. Okay, so you get the idea. And the thing is, they did all this work and they got one sale. So, this is what we would call unfortunate performance. And what you can do, when you're looking at performance across all these channels, if you want to know, every channel has nuances and stuff. And if you want to compare things on equal footing, what I like to look at is the cost per qualified show. That means for booked calls with a salesperson, someone showed up and you were happy they showed up. It was the right person. And I just like to look at what was the total spend it took to make that happen. And from there, you can make sure that everything makes sense. And overall, it's hard to totally separate all these things. But, you could say pure marketing kind of gives you a cost per lead, but it also gives you a cost per show. And cost per show is kind of marketing plus the appointment setting, the people calling. So that's kind of baked in here. And then at the end of the day, if you add in the skills of your salesperson, that will also help you estimate CAC. But you can see these are very high. These are super high numbers. This is not good. Cost per show, 6,000, 5,000, 8,000. What does that mean? Nothing is working. That's what that means. So in this case, nothing is working. And why? Are all these marketers bad? Not exactly, but it turns out that this is a classic mistake people make when they're trying to break out of referrals. They may not know that marketing is not the same as advertising. Making people aware is a lot easier. Advertising, getting information, getting in front of people is what a lot of these companies do. They run with what you tell them. They're like, hey, I want you to call people, and you get a cold calling agency. They'll call people and they say, hey, what are we selling? And you tell them. The problem is certain offers are notoriously hard to sell to strangers. And really, when I look at all these offers, let's look at these offers. One was cold calling. The offer at the end of the call after listening to all these recordings was, do you want to talk to our salespeople? And who wakes up in the morning and wants to talk to a salesperson? This is an absolutely terrible offer. So that's just terrible. In fact, it's so bad, I have to use red. It's that bad. Boom. That's a terrible offer. There's got to be anything could be better than that. Then we did some meta ads, and these meta ads were like, do you want us to place one of our team members in your business to work within one of your existing projects? That is also a tough offer to sell without a relationship. That takes so much trust. What if the guy we place isn't good, right? So that's really hard to sell somebody. Takes an incredible amount of trust. It's going to have a long sales cycle. And that's why it's difficult to advertise this. Okay, the next was on LinkedIn, we were doing these ads like, do you want a white paper? And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that either. That also can work. Typically, when you're doing a digital download, 1% to 3% of people might buy them, but you have to first of all, give the white paper that only buyers want to read. And who wants to read a white paper? Second, and three, you have to really be on top of the sales. You have to call them right away after they download it. You have to do a lot to get their attention to catch that 1 to 3% of the market that's really hot. So this could work if it's the right white paper sent to the right people and you call them immediately and you're really good at sales operations. This will work. In this case, it was like the white paper wasn't valuable to buyers. So that's part of, that was the problem. Okay, so in all these cases, was it the marketing agency that was the problem? These are all different agencies. I mean, a really experienced agency wouldn't let you make these mistakes, but I mean, they kind of were just taking orders. They're like, what do you want us to do? So the real problem here is the offer. For all of these is the offer. So how do we fix this? Here's how it works. And this is really some of the difference between marketing and advertising. It's more than just saying like, get a hold of people. You have to put them with the right offer and the right background information so that they want to take action. So here is the difficulty for lots of people. So most companies, I'm going to zoom out. A lot of companies can get somewhere around 2 to 10 million ARR and they kind of stall out because it's hard. It's hard to scale. But here's how you usually start. You start with relationships. And this is a wonderful thing because it's easier. It's easier and I think it's good. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's a great thing. And when you have relationships, the name of the game is you're always asking yourself, how might we increase the number of relationships that we can make like every month? That's what you're doing. And you could be, a lot of companies do events. Now, event attendees are going down. There's fewer buyers at events now. So maybe, you have like professional mastermind or professional groups. So I'll just write mind. Maybe you're in a CEO group, and sometimes through the relationships in there, you drum up some business. And there's so many more things, right? Some companies might do golf. You get the idea. And you can do digital stuff here. You can do outbound. We help companies do that as well. But the thing you have to know for relationships is it's so linear. It's like the money you make is related to the effort. And it's like you do some work and you make some money, and you do more work and you make more money. But it does have like a ceiling. At some point, it's like, this is how, is there an easier way? And you hit the ceiling where you can't seem to scale because it takes so much time to form a relationship. Now, one of the good things about relationships, before we get into how to solve this, you can sell just about anything. So people will come in, talk to people, and they'll be selling 150K deals or 25K deals, something kind of large, all the way to like several million. So like $2 million deals for big projects with enterprise. Like I'll solve the entirety of your problem over the year. And you could do that over a relationship. And the problem is you cannot do this with strangers. You just can't. And when you try, the strangers want different stuff. And so the key of how to switch over from relationships to selling to strangers is a massive part of scaling, because there are way more strangers than you have relationships. If you think about the market, it's mostly strangers, right? So this is a huge area that you can come in and sell and scale with, right? There's a whole other set of the market. But the thing you have to know is no matter what you're doing, no matter what channel, if you're doing ads, if you're doing calls, whatever the method is, AI-based emails, if you're doing whatever channel, it doesn't matter. These people, you can reach them, but they tend to not buy, which is why a lot of people fail or have bad experiences is they just make this huge mistake of trying to sell the same stuff to strangers. So what you need to do is change the offer. And that doesn't mean restructure your whole business and reinvent everything. It really doesn't. It just means you need some other way to get the foot in the door where you still make money and you acquire a customer and then you upsell them. But whatever your business is, somehow you could say it's service delivery. You do something. And when you have a relationship, you can have this longer sales cycle, longer process, and you can connect the dots for people and say, look, over the course of the year in this $2 million project, I'll deliver this service and you're going to get what you want. And you just can't do that with strangers. So what you have to do if you want to make money selling and scaling and you want to scale quickly, you want to find specific outcomes. And these are combined with like the outcome for a person, right? And there might be outcome, there might be lots of them. There's like an outcome over here. There's outcome number 2. There's outcome number N, right? There's so many outcomes. And what you need to do is wrap the outcome around a stranger-friendly. Everyone's heard this phrase like sell Hawaii don't sell the destination, don't sell the flight, right? Sell Hawaii, don't sell the plane and packing your bags, right? You've all heard that before. Service delivery is like the flight, right? The outcomes are Hawaii. So you want to pick a very specific outcome for a specific person, and to really drive it home for strangers, you need to make it obvious. You don't want them to have to think super hard to figure out how they are going to benefit. So a stranger-friendly offer, boom. A stranger-friendly offer has 4 components. 4 components. Number 1 is its very specific cost. It's not variable pricing. It can't be this like complicated, hard to understand pricing. It has a specific time frame. So that means you get the exact outcome in a specific time, not like throughout the project, we'll get there. We might run over, we might be fast. It has to be X days. The other element is, like I said before, a specific outcome, not a delivery method, not how we're going to do it, nothing to do with the mechanism. It's the thing they want. And then the last is, this is tricky for a lot of people, but you need to reduce, it has to be low risk. We don't want to take huge risks with strangers. So low risk. Key point, it cannot be zero risk, because then total yahoos will take you up on this offer with no intention, and they won't make good clients. But so it has to be low risk, not zero, but low risk. So you have to reduce the risk so that they are more confident of working with a stranger. So for a lot of companies, it could be you just kind of reframe that your offer and your outcome. You reframe your offer around a specific outcome and nothing else changes. For other companies, you might have to have a specific like foot in the door offer where you price the offer so that you make money acquiring the customer, and then you need a second upsell. It depends. It depends on exactly the industry and exactly who you are. But what's great is stranger-friendly offers are perfect for paid ads, because it's very easy to reach strangers with paid ads versus, relationships. You're not going to advertise to your friends. That would be very expensive. Ads are a great way to meet strangers. And the wonderful thing with ads are, once you sort out the unit economics, you design it so the thing you sell costs less than the cost to acquire, then you actually can have an inflection. You can actually have a growth that you can scale, and you can actually spend more and grow faster and faster, because you can start taking the cash flow from the initial sales and putting them into the ads machine. And this is the thing, everybody's heard this before, but the key is not, what buttons you click on Ads Manager, or if you're using LinkedIn ads or Meta ads or whatever, it's that you have something people want to buy. They already wanted it. And you have to, the hard work is to restructure what you do. And you don't have to change your business, but you just have to pitch these outcomes that they would already say yes to. So that's the way to solve this specific issue. And believe me, I see this all the time. In some teams, it could be other issues, right? You maybe have a sales operations problem or leadership problem, but this particular case, it was like, wow, everyone had the exact same problem. And so if you are facing, if you're trying to get out of relationship-based sales and you want to scale this year, and you want to do it with somebody that knows their stuff and that you can trust, click the link below. I'd love to help you this year. All right. Take care, guys. Cheers.